Hey guys, welcome back to DeFi Top Signal. I am your host, Abs, and my co-host here is Drake. What's up, Drake?
Yo, what's up, guys?
Hey man, it is an exciting day. It was a really eventful morning, or lack thereof, based on where you are and what you're doing with these ARB tokens. This is the stimmy day. I woke up super early this morning to anticipation to kind of game plan and my ARB tokens, and come to find that everyone's been having issues claiming. That's been the theme of this morning. The it's now 11:30 a.m. Eastern, which is what we're on. And finally, I was able to claim, and now the price of ARB is at $1.40, based on KuCoin exchange. What is your plan here, Drake? What's your game
All
plan?
right. So my plan is, well, first, let's tell them, for those guys watching, if they're still trying to claim by the time they watch this video, the llama swap dudes. I retweeted that as well. But if you go to swap.defilama.com/arb and you connect your wallet, there's going to be a section where you can claim your tokens. So if you're having trouble claiming your tokens, I tried doing it from the contract. The contract won't even load. But the legends over at DeFi Llama, they were able to get this up. So if you guys are needing to claim that, go check it out there. What's interesting is, in my opinion, I actually think short term, it's going to be pretty bullish for the token, because if people are having trouble trying to claim this token, there's theoretically only buy pressure. But as time goes on, as more people figure out, oh, you go to Llama Swap, you do this, and this is how you claim, then it's probably going to get the inevitable dump. But as for right now, the price action looks pretty strong. There's not much TA you can do, and I'm not really a TA guy. But I mean, it's one of those things. I think the price target would be $1.50, sell half, and then just see what happens. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so looking at this across the board, so KuCoin's it's kind of ripping right now. It's at $1.41. We did see initially on KuCoin that the price went actually up to above $11, and I did hear on some other exchanges that the high price was around $17. It's kind of insane because the entire
17
time
bucks?
$17, yeah. Um, it's kind of insane because at that point no one was able to claim. Maybe about 2% at that point in time was able to claim. If you were a dev or something, you knew of a back door that you can
Inside
claim
job.
these. Yeah, probably. I wouldn't rule that out, but it's I don't know. It's at $1.40 right now. I do think that we know Drake. I got to talk about the previous episodes. We did talk about this ARB, and we did speculate on the price prediction of this coming out. I stood strong at $1 at least, and what happened? We literally came down to $1.10 on the swing low,
That's what
and
I'm saying. 75 cents to $1.50, baby.
I honestly think that this does have legs in the next day or two. But I mean, this is if you obtained your airdrop, it's a win-win no matter what. If you sell it for at this price, or if you sell it in a day or two, it's still free money, right? A stimmy check is equals a stimmy check in my book.
Yeah, and I mean, just saying. I mean, like, I remember the Paraswap airdrop when I got that one. Like, I remember it was super volatile, similar to something like this. The reason why I talk about the Paraswap one was because I remember staring at the screen and I was like, man, I should sell, I should hold, should I sell? I don't know. And I finally ended up just like, I'm just gonna pull the trigger. I go back, look 2-3 days later, and I'm like, man, I'm so happy I pulled the trigger. It's one of those things, like, if you sell it now, are you going to go ahead and buy it back? If you want to buy it back, then maybe it's not the time to sell. If it's something that you sell and you just don't even want to buy back, then it was a great time. Eventually, over time, or at the end of the day, you'll look back and just be happy that you sold and took profits. I mean, worst case scenario, if you want to have exposure to the asset itself, look at it like this. Do you expect the Arbitrum token to do more than a 5x? If you do, hold the Arbitrum token. If not, just swap it to ETH and hold ETH. You're still going to get the same exposure. If you get a 5x on ETH and 5x on ARB, it's the same exact thing. There's no difference. I mean, I guess you got 5x on ARB instead of ETH, but monetarily wise, which most people are here for, forget in it for the tech. In it for the tech means in it for the money. But yeah, that's the point. It's like if you want to and capture those gains, or at least still have exposure to the upside, cash it into ETH.
No, that's a good point. I mean, there is an opportunity for you to LP this, right, in several different ecosystems. I I do think that there's an opportunity there because you could be holding this if you are bullish for the long term. Putting an LP into this and potentially farming certain types of rewards. I know that Trader Joe has, and I'm not sure you looked into this, Drake, but Trader Joe has a farm already, and I'm actually going to check this out as we speak.
Oh, let's do it. Yeah, that was another thing. If you want to borrow some stable coins against this, you can actually go on, what are the Tracer DAO? No, it's not Tracer DAO. What is the name? There's one protocol on Arbitrum.
It's
Got
not
its
Radiant,
own
is it?
token. No. It's not Radiant. It's almost like a MakerDAO. You can borrow Vesta Finance.
That's right, Vesta. Yeah, they received a
Vesta.
nice one. They received a nice little. I'm not sure we can pull that chart up. Not chart, but the table where a lot of these DApps across the ecosystem for Arbitrum received a lot of ARB airdrop. And
Vesta, they said they're going to be opening a vault for the Arbitrum token. So basically, you'll be able to drop in some ARB tokens and borrow some Vesta, which is or Vest, something like that. It's
Mhm.
basically their stable coin, so it's not bad.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what to do with this at this point. I mean, the price has stabilized. My target is, I mean, personally, I would love to have this target be around $2 for me to sell, but
Yeah,
being that
KuCoin's starting to look weak right now.
very much, very much, it's $1.36 right now, $1.37. Yeah, there's a lot of mixed emotions. A lot of, I think that ETH has gone up a lot too because a lot of folks took the ARB airdrop and converted it all to ETH. Um, I, we are basically at the forefront of people claiming at this point. They're trying to figure it out. I think there's a lot of claimers at this point to make these conversions, or they're deciding to keep it or not. So the pendulum can sway to the upside or the downside here, and I am probably going to be in the camp where it swings to the upside.
Opium.
Hopium, yeah. That's exactly.
That'd be nice. Hey, I'm down for that. I'd love the upside.
Yes, there
See
is.
what
So
happens.
if you're seeing this right now, you probably have you probably went through the channels to claim your ARB tokens already. If you have not, there's two ways to do this. Drake mentioned that you can go through Llama, DeFi Llama, right? You go through the swap there. The other thing is that you can also go through the actual RB scan and looking up the ARB contract, and then you can kind of see the Arbitrum token, kind of like the token profile page. You can then go into the contract, which is a tab there, and then you can go into write contract. I know it's really really techie at this point, but once you go into there, you can then connect your wallet to that contract, and basically there's a bunch of functions on the bottom of that, and then the top function is called claim, right? You simply go into there, and then the only option you're able to hit there is write, and then right there, once you click that button, write, WRITE, your MetaMask should be able to say, hey, you want to connect to this, and then basically right there it'll say claim, and then you can set your gas to like 20 or around 30. And
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was
you gotta juice your gas for sure.
yeah, because the site suggested to have it around 6 or 8, but obviously, a lot of folks are trying to do this right now. Guys, this is early days, right? This is still the Wild Wild West. It took around 3 hours for folks to figure this out. I only figured it out within the last hour and was able to claim right before this recording. So now I'm trying to decide whether to dump the tokens into ETH or to hold it for if there's going to be juicy yield within this ecosystem.
Yeah, that's a valid point. I can see both arguments for holding or trading. I think we did get a nice pump up to the a buck 38. I was hoping it might get to a buck 50. It definitely is looking weak, but I don't know. I think there are going to be some good farming opportunities though, which will be pretty good to see what comes out of it. I think like similar to optimism, you'll be able to um, farm on things like Curve or Dopex or even on GMX. It'll be interesting to see what the protocols do with their tokens. As for some other chains, like I was saying a couple of weeks ago, um, we're starting to see some flows into other chains. Well, not flows, but like Phantom. Phantom seems to be pumping. Obviously, it's because Bitcoin is pumping. But you also see some other stuff like Cardano actually had some inflows. I'm not really looking into Cardano too much, but Optimism, they had 9% in the past 24 hours. Binance Smart Chain, 5% in the past one day. Yeah, past 24 hours. Uh, I mean, they all seem to starting to get some inflows, which would be interesting to see what happens with them. It might be people skating to the next narrative. And also, I don't know if you saw this, but it looks like Richard Hart and Hex, they finally launched their Pulse chain, or at least dropped the testnet for it. And Hex is basically defying gravity. I remember it went as low as 2 cents and it's now at 12. Already a 6x on that sucker. Oh,
Yeah, I
it's
think
nuts.
is Richard Hart has he because I kind of stay away from whatever he's holding and what he's doing because of what he's been buying, and he's consistently shopping. He has all of these extravagant clothing, shoes. He goes out to restaurants basically every single meal. He documents this stuff. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good as if you are a hex holder, right? Because what is he actually doing? Is he actually building, or is he, I'm going to speculate here, is he using the funds for, the folks that are buying into his project in a
Of course
bad
he
way,
is.
right? Like
Of course he is.
all right, so I was trying to allude to that, but I didn't know if
No, of
that
course
was
he is.
yeah, I honestly don't think that.
When you bet on Hex, you're betting on Richard Hart to pump his own bags. That's it. I
Yeah.
mean, you got to think about it. It's like a sophisticated Ponzi. Well, it's not even sophisticated. It's like, dude, lock up your tokens for I don't know 552 weeks or whatever it is, and just never get them back. And it's like for some, I mean, it may work out for them, but for others, they end up just bag holding or they end up claiming earlier, withdrawing, and paying like 80% taxes and just burning all of the money.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll work out a few years from now. But if you want to speculate on Hex, just buy the Hex token and then dump like in a bull market. It will outperform in bull markets. I mean, I'm just saying in general, fear and greed are two extremely strong emotions that humans have. And people looking at Richard Hart, seeing him carry the bags, Louis Vuitton, Rolex. When people see that, they're like, "Oh, this guy's genius," and he's a really smart guy. He's very convincing, and he knows what he's talking about. But just understand it. he's pumping his bags, and it's not like a legit thing, but it is what it is. Just understand what you're getting into and speculating on something like that. Me personally, I'm not saying don't buy the Hex token. What I'm saying is don't buy it thinking, oh, this is the future of finance. I'm going to stake it and it's like the best thing ever. Look at it like a meme coin. Hex is going to be reflexive to Richard. So if Richard feels good that day and is doing a very good job pumping his bags and he's still alive, it will do well. That's it. But if Richard goes down, then it's roasted. The coin depends on Richard.
That's true. It's concerning, honestly, because I purposely follow him and see what he's doing, just because every time he speaks and all that stuff, and you know, talking about his project, it's great. But there's a lot of people that have you know, their savings, or their, you know, they invest in this guy, and he's literally openly saying, "Hey guys, look at my nice stuff that I just bought. I have so much money. I'm rich," you know, and so I tend to look away, and I think majority of the folks can kind of sniff that out. You know, as investors in this space, you kind of want to look at the, you know, the good of blockchain and the opportunities of DeFi and earning yield. And I'm going to be happy spectating on the sidelines, looking at Hex. I mean, if it goes off, it goes off, right? It's not. I'm not going to be. You know, I'm not going to have FOMO with this. And that's, you know, I'll be happy with that. I'm just an interested spectator. Let's just say that I'm gonna lurk, and lurk, based on, you know, I hope people make money in that. I hope that it's positive, right? Because I think that all innovation in this space needs to be, you know, held to the highest standard, because it's, you know, we are in DeFi, and this is an experimental. We are in experimental phase. Like, we're still experimenting this, you know, certain protocols and certain game theories. Ecosystems are rising, some are falling. You know, the stronger protocols are rising to the top because of obvious reasons, and their game theory works. Their UI and UX has been awesome, and you know, we can obviously see in every single ecosystem. I would say in the top 8 ecosystems in terms of TVL, they are thriving for a reason. And you know, I'm not sure whichever ecosystem you want to talk about, but I know in the last episode, on episode 8, we talked about the ecosystem for BTC, that the smart contract layer stacks. I gave my conviction. Yeah, I gave my conviction of, I think that Alex is going to be massive.
Deco. Don't
Yeah.
forget about Deco.
I'm probably going to sit in the sidelines for Deco, and I might regret that. But
What is Deco doing right now? Let's see our Deco.
I honestly think Deco's around 10 cents, or no, sorry. The last time I looked was 17 cents. And that was about 3 to 4 days ago.
Deco's good. I like Deco.
Yeah, I hope it goes off.
It's Degen. It's like MakerDAO. Our Deco. Why can't I pull it up?
Yeah, as you look that up.
I can. Yeah, it's right here. Yeah, it's 16 cents.
Yeah, and I think that the ecosystem has been very, very strong at this point. Like, I haven't seen any selling at all. I haven't seen that much, you know, negativity on it. I do have to say that I can't wait for the actual upgrade in terms of the speeds.
Yeah, it's horrible, dude.
It's not good.
It was like, man, what is taking so long?
As soon as I was experiencing the long transactions, and I received the 10 to 30 minutes, you know, transaction estimated time frame for you to execute, I said to myself, I said, well, I think that this is the ecosystem where I'm just gonna set it and forget it, lock it up, and then hopefully within the next, you know, when my LP gets, you know, freed up and unlocked, I hope I'm gonna be happy, right? And I think I will. I think I honestly will. I did show you, and I did share this with you, Drake, after the last episode, that the lockup mechanism is actually very powerful. It reminds me, it reminds me of, like, you know, a Roth IRA or a 401k. You know how they say that you should invest in that, earn, you know, a compounding interest And as soon as you go through the years, and when you become 60, it compounds even more at a huge multiplier, and it just compounds more and more and more based on the interest over time. Me looking at the estimated Alex LP, so every single cycle that it's in, I think I locked mine up for the max cycles, which was around 34 cycles, and every single cycle is made up of 2 or 3 days. I think it's 3 days. And so if you extrapolate that out, 3 times 34 cycles, I get 117 days. And with every single cycle, you earn a modest 50% APR in terms of whatever LP you're in. Now, I did look at this, and as soon as it hits the middle of the cycles, like, it gets very juicy, right? The initial APR went from 54% APR, and then once I got to the second half of it, it was then around like the 400% APR. And then towards the very, very end, it then got into the thousands.
Yeah, was that because it wasn't diluted or what? Like, as in, you see what I'm saying? Like, was it
Yeah.
just juicing the yields because there's less people in there?
And
Or
so this is it's kind of interesting. I think that's probably the case. Because I did see the day after, or 2 days after I checked up on it, I think I did see that the final APR went down. And it went down by 100, 200% from my overall 4,000% that it was spewing out. Now I'm taking that with a grain of salt. I think that the 4,000 is kind of a misnomer at this point. I think that it's going to go down a lot, a lot over time as people start discovering this and bridging their money over, and then eventually adding their LP to it. Yes, it's going to go down. That 4,000 will not be there in about a month. It'll probably be around, in the hundreds, I'm thinking. But it's out of sight, out of mind. And the idea is that I'm gonna hopefully be very excited to unlock my stuff and obtain my rewards sometime in middle of July. I'm very excited.
yeah, yeah, I don't blame you on that. So what'd you end up doing with your Arbitrum airdrop, man?
I'm just gonna hang on to it just for a second, and then see what it does the rest of the day. Hopefully it pumps a little bit, and then I can just probably get it right into ETH. I think ETH is an obvious play, right? And if I really wanted to get back in, then I'll take my ETH and I'll use it as collateral and maybe buy the ARB token if it does eventually come back down. If it swings back low in the high dollar, the high maybe like $1, like the low end, then I'll probably try to scoop it there. But I don't honestly see that this is going to go beneath $1. I could be wrong because people have, and I am seeing on Twitter that people are able to claim at this point. So we could see this next huge leg down potentially because obviously, as we said earlier, that it's been impossible to claim all this morning. The airdrop was supposed to be claimable around 9 a.m. this morning, and it didn't. That wasn't the case. So given that it's almost noon, I think people are now trying to get their airdrop, and then potentially you'll see this next leg down, and then that might be the final leg down because throughout the day today, people are waking up, able to claim. It's probably gonna try to get more of this selling pressure.
Yeah, I think I just sold half and just see what happens. I just sold it into ETH, even though ETH is pumping. Everyone already sold ARB into ETH, but I don't know, man. I think it's. I mean, I think it will do well, but I think next day, as more people are claiming, I think it'll be interesting to see. I think there might be a Dune analytics on Arbitrum token claims. Let's see, ARB. Yeah, here it is. Arbitrum airdrop from Blockworks. The total airdrop 1.27 billion. The total airdrop allocation. It looks like 20 or 244,000 addresses that claimed which is 39% of the addresses. 40% of the tokens have been claimed. There's still yet to be another 60% to claim. So I think that might be negative on the supply, but that's really going to depend if they're able to claim and sell. What would be interesting to, actually, no, it shows the data here. Yeah, it shows people here that are claiming. Yeah, I can see a lot of people that claimed that are still just holding on to their airdrop. One of these guys, oh, actually, never mind. That looks like you just sent it from another wallet. Just looking at these and just flipping through some of these transactions, I'll send you a link so you can look at it too. It looks like most people are literally just, it's like 50% that are claiming and just holding this. So it looks like they have yet to sell. We got some claims, airdrop distribution claimed by users. Yeah, it looks like most of the users. Oh, wow, this is cool too. So of the 10,250 people, there were not that many wallets that got that. There was about 5,000 wallets that got that, and it looks like 30% of that is claimed and 70% is left to claim. So of the 10,250 token wallets, which is the max, 3,093 people are left to claim, and only 1,335 claimed. The biggest tiers are with the guys who only got 625 tokens. Obviously, that's the biggest because it's the lowest. But I mean, they stinking have 77,000 wallets left to claim on that. The DAO airdrop, they haven't even claimed their tokens. So the DAOs have yet to get their tokens, and that's going to be another 112 million. Yeah, man, it just looks like a bunch of sell pressure once these guys are able to claim.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm missing something. I mean, we all know how memes go. Memes like the be like Hex.
Yeah, you have to really kind of weigh your strategy, right? I think the idea is that you should be happy no matter what. Like go in to say, hey, if I'm gonna hit this swap button to sell all of my ARB tokens, you have to be okay with that. In a few days from now, when ARB potentially could be, at $2 plus. Who knows? We don't know at this time. We do see the market at this point, and I'm saying the broader markets, with BTC currently at 28,600. I think earlier it was at 2,800 or 28,800, which is the top level of this resistance. It's been hitting this resistance so many times in the last, over the last week.
Yeah, it would be
It's
nice
been
to see.
struggling. I think honestly that we could potentially see this. Um, since yesterday the FOMC came out and they said that we're going to increase rates by 25 basis points. We did see a huge sell off yesterday, but the markets has recovered since. We did see a big, huge spike sometime around 9 to 10 a.m., which is very, very nice, very, very bullish. Some people are attributing it to the claimed ARB airdrop, but I honestly see that we did see a low and it bounced off the support level, and this is I'm talking about BTC around 26,600. Now, do I see this potentially going higher? I honestly do. I do see this price action continuing to the upside. And I'm not sure, Drake. Have you been following Balaji, the one that the guy that made the?
Dude, I listened to that. It was actually pretty convincing.
Yes,
But for the 90 days, I don't think so.
I don't think so. I
Uh,
think so. We all talked about I think crypto Twitter has been very, very vocal about this. Balaji is a I think he's an ex Coinbase executive. I think he was actually a chief of some sorts. But anyways, this guy basically came out and said that I think that within 90 days the Bitcoin price it'll reach $1 million, and obviously he could have said 2 million or he could have said 500,000, and it would still kind of like come out to the same conclusion. I think his point behind it is not about the $1 million valuation of BTC. Yes, we all would love that. We all would absolutely. I would love it. But I think that the message he's sending is that he wants people to see this bet, and then he wants the people to and like read his explanation on how and why this is achievable, because it's all mainly about the inflation numbers, right? And I don't know if you want to get into the inflation numbers and on why we are increasing the rates, and also why banks are failing, but then they're also getting bailed out. So we are injecting more money into the system. So that way it's diluting our spending power, yada yada yada. So I think that's the main reason why he's coming out and saying this and making this bet. Yes, he could potentially lose this bet with people that have taken him up on that, but he's a billionaire. There's no reason for him to it's chump change for him. But I think he's on this marketing campaign to say, hey guys, everyone needs to wake up here, because what the banks, what he sees in terms of the banks failing and collapsing over the next few months to the end of this year, it's a contagion. And the whole point of it all is he wants people to wake up and look at, hey, these banks are failing, and yet again, the Fed and our government is printing more money to bail them out. So it's okay for these banks to fail, essentially. Balaji did tweet last night with sources, right, to back up his huge Twitter tweet. He tweeted out this big, huge. Basically, it looked like a paper to me, but it was awesome. I read it 3 times because the first few times I didn't understand it. So, but honestly, read it. Look at Balaji's past tweets. I think he's got some validity there, but I honestly don't think that it's just about the $1 million bet. I think it's about, hey guys, here's the information on what the government is doing. These banks are collapsing, and yet again, they keep getting bailed out. The answer is Bitcoin, right? That's the ultimate message here. The answer is Bitcoin. The answer is crypto.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty valid reasoning, a valid point. That's why I kind of liked his arguments about what he was talking about with Bitcoin, and not only that, gold, silver, and obviously, like if it gets really bad, some guns and food. But kind of just since we're a DGen podcast, it's kind of segueing as whatever. You know what the word is? Segway. The little 2-wheeled scooter thing, right?
Mhm.
What are you playing on Arbitrum right now? Are you playing with any of the tokens, or are you keeping most of, or are you even playing Arbitrum? Some people are speculating like, hey, some of these Arbitrum tokens are going to do well, and one of them we talked about last week, like I really like the stats, is CAP. CAP
Yeah.
is popping off, dude. It's up 14% today. It's basically like GMX, but the stats, they're nuts, and there's no inflation on the token. They just upgraded to V4. Let me see if I can find the stats on this thing. But what are you looking at on Arbitrum? You playing any tokens on there, or are you staying away out of Arbitrum?
So full disclosure, I played in Arbitrum about 5-6 months ago to try to get this airdrop, and I stayed up until the time where I was hacked. I fell for one of like the one of those standard honeypot scams,
Oh, I
and
did that too. I did that
yeah,
too.
and
With
given
GNS.
yeah, it's easy to fall for it, because since Arbitrum has been one of the talk of the town over the last 5-6 months, um, these scammers were out on the prowl. Like they were literally out there trying to create brand new tokens that literally it looked really good. They're getting really sophisticated with their coding, and they're getting sophisticated with ARB scan. But the idea here is that I got scammed for a pretty penny, and it took me out for a little bit, right? So I made some decent money with Radiant at around 2 cents. I got into Chromatica, which is another DEX, at around, I think it was around like 4 or 5 cents, and Magic was around 23 cents. So think about that. Like if I didn't get scammed, I would be up a lot. And I think my yeah, and it's okay. It's a part of the experimentation. It's the journey.
It's part of the
I
game.
Yeah, it's a part of the game, and you don't play with anything that you're willing to lose. So I was willing to go in there and lose it all, and I did. So that's unfortunate for me. It was a tough pill to swallow. But I did I did go down the rabbit hole on try to how not to do that in the future. I did get pretty savvy with understanding the using going into RB scan and looking at certain um, token profiles. The idea is that looking at these transactions and seeing how scammy they are, contracts. I think it's every single time that you get scammed, every single time that you get some unfortunate thing, or honeypotted, whatever it is, you get more savvy throughout this time, and it makes you only stronger. So everything that I'm looking at, I'm not, yes, I was degen back then, but I think I'm a little bit lesser of a degen now because it makes you tighten up. It makes you worry about the actual contract code, and that's a good thing. I think that's a positive thing. So if you are not familiar with the honeypot scam, really what it is that hard coded into the contract. Basically, what it is that the contract for the buying of this token, and let's say that I got scammed for X amount, but I wanted to buy into this, so I swapped my ETH or swapped whatever it is stables into this token. I wasn't able to take it out because it was hard coded within the code that says it was a swap function. Is this, and literally it says it right there within the contract. So if you read the contract and you dive into Arbiscan, you read the contract and look at the swap, it was listed as false. So it was literally just, it's a honeypot, right? So money goes in and it doesn't come out. You're unable to swap it, and it was just gone. And then I found out going into it, and I followed the wallets because I was very angry. It was also midnight at that time. I did find out that the funds went directly to a hot wallet that was on Binance. So obviously money was gone. It was already swapped right back into whatever the wallet and the hackers took it. So it was over, and I am stronger now, and it's a price to pay. But I'm here to tell you that it's okay, and these things happen. Arbitrum has had a lot of the folks going into the ecosystem, and there's a new token coming out literally every single day, almost every single second. So it's really worrisome, right? But you got to look at the liquidity, you got to look at the transactions. Same wallets are literally buying and selling, so that's another red flag right there. And also diving in deep with the contract code and seeing if it's, hey, is this swappable or not? Or it's tough because what if it's true, right? What if that swappable function was listed as true? Well, the contract person could actually go in there and toggle that to say false, and then basically at any time they can just take your money and run, and then delist their token. So it's kind of it's still the wild west, and you got to look at these. You got to make sure that you are investing in the right token, because obviously this is not vetted out as it would be on a centralized exchange.
Yeah. The easiest thing for me, at least, what I did, because I did the same thing like on Dex Screener. Like I just wasn't paying attention. I just saw gains, and I knew it just recently moved to Arbitrum, and I was like, oh, I know it's a new token pair. But I went on Dex Screener, it was trading like 50 cents less. I was like, oh, this is nice arbitrage. I'm just gonna get it on SushiSwap instead of on Uniswap and get a great deal. Well, I mean, obviously, the first thing you do to check is like if there's any buys and sells, and I was like, okay, cool, this is good. It's got some sells in it. But if you look into it, it's actually just wallets, just wash trading going back and forth that are already whitelisted. And I ended up buying some of the GNS token, which was the fake one. I was like, whatever. So basically, it was honeypotted. I couldn't even sell it. To get away from the honeypot, the first thing you do is just go to the contract address on CoinGecko and just use that one. That's the easiest way to get around it. That way you don't have that issue, and you're not messing with that. And if you do get scammed or lose money, I mean, don't stop. Just make sure you understand and figure out what you did wrong, and don't do that in the future. You are going to make mistakes, but the best thing you can do is learn from other people's mistakes so you don't have to make them.
Yeah, absolutely. And you want to make sure that you get the correct contract code. That's literally the top thing.
Yeah.
So verifiable websites, obviously, it's going to be CoinGecko to get the contract code, and or CoinMarketCap.
Yeah.
That's just the safest way to do it. And also, you can also use DeFi Llama. DeFi Llama never fails.
DeFi Llama is pretty cool. But always, either way, check the white paper for the protocol. Go in the Discord, especially if you're making I mean, when in doubt, if you do see something and you're like, oh, this is interesting. Oh, I'm going to buy this. Spend like $10, $15. And if it is a honeypot and you can't sell, well, then whatever. It's $15.
Yeah.
But if it's good, it's okay. Then go ahead and buy some more. Buy as much as you want, and then you can basically position yourself accordingly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So one of the last few items I wanted to talk about was the NFT side. Obviously, this is not financial advice. None of this is financial advice. This is just my thoughts only, based on what I'm seeing in the markets. So, two things with the NFT side. Number one is that the big three, and when I say the big three, I would mention any of these blue chips that are top market caps of like maybe like within the top 10 NFT collections. There's been a shift. There's been a shift in trust. There's been a shift in uh, I don't know what to say here, but there's been a huge negative outlook on three big projects, and it's Clone X. It's and I would say Artifact, actually. Let me change that. It's Artifact. It's Doodles and Moonbirds. Now, they're not. These collections are not like they're not under the same exact company, right? So between these three collections, there's been a lot of FUD that was circulating. There was airdrops that was like clothing, clothing drips, they would call it in air quotes, based on the style designs. What's that?
I said, what does that even mean?
Yeah, so like apparently the creators the founders, they had a direction where they wanted to do clothing drips where you would able to take your NFT that you have for this collection and then basically have some type of design on a hat, a hoodie, a t-shirt, whatever it is, whatever design, and it gets shipped to you, right? Merch. And it's kind of cool, this and that, right? It's another way for revenue and this and that for the entire NFT collection. But the quality has come back. Like everything that they see online it looked awesome, right? People were very, very excited for it. Ultimately, they received it on their side as a holder, and it was very disappointing. It was low quality. It was not the logo was not what it seemed. So if you just look at this on Twitter, people are just very, very upset with the direction these collections are going. So we did see double digits for these in the past. I think all of these were above 20 ETH floor over the last bull cycle. We're sitting here in the deep bear cycle right at this point, and now all of these across the board are around 3 to 4 ETH floor price. So it's a big ouch. It's a big, big, big ouch as a holder. I'm not a holder in any of these, but the communities are very, very upset with the execution of the roadmaps, the utility behind these NFTs. Now they're questioning these, and so that's a negative aspect of NFT collections because if you go into the Discord and you ask for, hey, what's the when utility, when roadmap, or then every single time that a milestone will come up, it's going to be negative because most of the time is that these if you've been in the space long enough, that it takes a long time to develop these things, and usually these roadmaps are pushed back, and that's the typical thing. So don't get your hopes up when you're looking at a deadline of, let's say, the end of this month, which is in 7 days, and you'll get a notification within the Discord saying that, hey, we're going to need to push out another week or two or a month.
Yeah.
It happens with the best of us. It happens with the top projects like Yuga Labs and all that. Like, we thought that there was going to be some type of voyage or whatever, that was going to open up the metaverse, and it's delayed until the end of this year. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's going to be delayed until 2024. But that's neither here or there. It's just that it's, you buy for the art and you buy for the potential utility, but just know what you're buying into with these NFT collections. Last thing I want to talk about was blue chips. So as the negativity was happening across the previous 3 NFT collections I was talking about, I find that there's trust in no utility type of collections, right? People are kind of going back and saying, hey, let me look at the actual OG collections or the lower level, the lower floor price NFT collections. And we did see a couple rises across the board. I wanted today to talk about CryptoPunks, right? Everyone knows the CryptoPunks is all that, and it's like 10,000 collection. I found CryptoPunks when it was around like $5,000-$6,000. At that point, ETH was around like a couple, maybe 1,000 or two at that point on the run up. But I wanted to talk to you about there's 2 different collections. The idea is that the V2s, version 2s, is what you see now that are going for like hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? The floor price is around 75, 70 ETH for these V2s. Well, the question is that what are these V1s? And I wanted to kind of shine a light on this because there's a big discrepancy in its potential opportunity, which I'm heavily looking at. So
V1 and V2s, I'm not familiar.
Exactly. So here we go. All right. So V2s is the original, is one of the original collections. So they say, right? So V2s came out in June 2017 by Larva Labs. The V2s is made up of 10,000 CryptoPunks, and they're being openly traded on the CryptoPunks website exclusively. And it's also you can now, I think you can recently get this on. You can wrap up your CryptoPunk, and you can exchange it, buy and sell on Blur, OpenSea, and what have you right now, because you weren't able to in the past. So those are V2s. Their floor price is 70 plus ETH. V1s, let me give you some backup on this one. So V1s also launched in June of 2017 by Larva Labs. CryptoPunks were originally free for anyone with an Ethereum wallet plus claim. You can get, you have to pay gas and all that on the Ethereum network. The punks were a huge hit at launch, and all of them were claimed incredibly fast. In the original CryptoPunks contract, the smart contract, these V1s, there was a code error that caused Ethereum to be allocated to the buyer instead of the seller when a purchase was made. Okay? In other words, a buyer was immediately refunded for their purchase and was able to keep the punk. So
Wow.
there was a code error on these V1s, and these V1s are actually the OG ones. These are the very, very first NFT collection ever, right? So given that there's only like 3,800 of these, I think maybe there are 38 wrapped. Maybe that's but that's neither here or there. But these V1s, to me, in my eyes, they're bullish because the bug was found and they scrapped it. They said, "Hey, we're gonna make a new one. We're gonna scrap these V1s. V2s is the answer. V2, we're gonna clean up this contract code, the smart contract. There's not gonna be an error. You're able to transact, buy, and sell this and that easy." So that's the V2s are the ones that are just crazy money, right? Like that's where you have Jay-Z bought in, you have a bunch of these other celebrities buying in, and they have it, and Gary V and all that. So these V1s, they're out there. They're wrapped. If you unwrap it, then you're actually the contract basically would, if you unwrap it ever, there's a risk for you to lose that punk. But dude, the OpenSea, and I want to see this right now. OpenSea has these V1s, these CryptoPunk V1s at, I think the last time I looked, it was around 4. Yeah, so it's the floor price is at 4.27 on OpenSea, and I think I saw on Blur that it was around 3.9. So obviously, if you want one of these, which I'm really looking at these, because this is, if people are going to look at the origin of NFTs, right? Who cares about?
So going back to the V1,
Huh?
so the real punks that you see are actually the V2 punks.
Correct. There's two different
Huh.
collections. There's
So
V2s and V1s.
nobody even talks about the V1s. Drop me a link on Discord. I want to check that out.
Absolutely. Now it's perking. It's piquing your
Well,
interest,
because
right?
it's interesting because like if let's say for example Punk 6529, he's got his own punk. It seems like, well, if someone else gets Punk V1, who's the actual OG?
It's debatable, right? Because Yuga Labs purchased the IP for only the V2s. Okay? The intellectual property is owned by Yuga Labs because they auctioned it off. Like, the Larva Labs auctioned it off. Yuga Labs came in and say, hey, we'll buy the IP for that. We'll buy the whole collection. So Yuga Labs owns this, but they do not own or even care to speak about the V1s. And these V1s are trading at a premium. Like I'm saying, like there's 3 to 4 ETH each. At the peak, it was at 5.5, 6, and about over the last month. But think about it. If these V1s take off to the current price of V2s, which is at 70, that's greater than a 20-to-1 return. My conviction here is that if I bought one of these, which I'm planning to, I think, right? I was hoping that the airdrop for ARB would be a little bit higher than where it is now, but I'm okay. I might reach for one of these. I might reach for a punk because that's always been my dream, right? My goal has always been to get a punk, but I honestly think that there's going to be upside with this.
Yeah,
I think
but
that
by the way, if you're debating your ARB airdrop, what to do, I just looked on Uniswap. The fees are nuts and ham. So like and we'll go back to NFTs real quick. But the ETH ARB 1% pair, the TVL is 38 mil, and the 24-hour volume is 56 mil, which that's astronomical. So if you have volume that's more than the TVL and it's paying a 1% fee, that means that the APR on that is basically 2% per day. Because, oh, well, almost. If it goes to, and I think it will, if it goes to about 70, what is it, 40? About 76 mil in volume, that would be a 2% APR per day. And if you concentrate that, it would be even higher. Now, keep in mind, you are going to see some impermanent loss, and if the ARB token goes down or it goes up and it's going to be extremely volatile, yeah, there is that chance like it goes to zero, but not zero. Well, yeah, actually, there is a chance it goes to zero. But you're going to see a lot of volatility with the Arbitrum token itself, and you will see impermanent loss. But if you are just using the airdrop point of it and just selling half and throwing it into an LP, I don't see anything wrong with that. You're getting paid for it. I mean, if if you're contemplating whether to sell or to hold. If you've already sold it, I mean, dude, just wait for another day. I mean, I think it's going to go down more because you're going to have more sell pressure. But if you're on the fence line, like, oh, should I sell now? Should I just hold now that it's at $1.23? I would just say sell it, LP it, throw it in, see what happens. If it goes up, great, whatever. You still have exposure in the LP. If it goes down, whatever. You got paid in the position, and at least you weren't just bag holding and just getting wrecked. And also the 0.3% fee. It's got a TVL of 16 mil and a 24-hour volume of, I just refreshed it, of probably 40 mil. Let's see. It was 39.25 like a minute ago. We're just going to go at 40 mil because it's refreshing. It's taking forever. But basically, oh yeah, it's 40 mil. So, okay, well, it's 19 mil TVL now. So 19 mil and 40 mil, that means those guys, it's not getting paid 2% a day because it's a 3.3% swap fee, but these guys are getting about 0.7% per day at this rate. I think it'll get more, but we'll see what happens. And just keep in mind you have impermanent loss, though. Fees are pretty nice.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's really it. I mean, I could get into this this V1 versus V2 kind of debate, right? There is upside with V1s over the V2s, but that could be another. I could extend this on the next episode, but until I buy, I'm gonna let all you guys know. I'll change my my PFPs, of course, on my Twitter, and I'll be very, very excited about it. So I think that might actually conclude it here. What do you think, Drake? Is there any other topics that
Yeah,
you think that
that
we should?
works. I got to
All
do
right.
some DD on this. The V1 punks. Drop me a link. I'll definitely give that a check out. But in general, like if you guys haven't been following Abs on Twitter, make sure you guys give him a follow on Twitter. You can also follow me on Twitter at Drake on Digital. Abs is hard_abs 25, I think. Is that
2013.
right? 2013.
Yep.
Make sure you guys give him a follow. We put that in the description below as well, so you guys can check it out. If
All
you
right,
guys are
Drake.
new to this channel, make sure you guys like and sub and tell us what you guys think of this episode, and tell us what we need to do better so we can go ahead and make your guys' viewing experience better. And what do you guys want us to talk about more of?
Yeah, we love the comments. So keep it up and please drop us a like. Drake, hit him with the one-liner, man.
One-liner, baby. Proverbs chapter 11, verses 18. A wicked person earns deceptive wages, but the one who sows righteousness reaps a sure reward. That's true, man. You can make a lot of money buying and selling drugs or selling alcohol, but is that something you really want to do? You're basically profiting off of someone else's bad habits. Just something to
Yep,
keep in mind.
absolutely. All right, great. Thanks for joining. We'll be back. Thank
All
you.
right, guys.